And if one of you could, maybe if you could quickly introduce your roles to me, and then I'd love to see your site plan.
Sure. So my name is Kamala. I'm the site planner.
Okay, hi.
Hi, my name's Rachel. I'm our marketing director.
I'm Thanvi, and I'm the neighborhood liaison.
I'm Hannah, and I'm the city liaison.
I'm Ram, and I'm the financial analyst.
I'm
All right, great.
I'm just gonna pull up our plan so you can.
All right, and then maybe if the site planner could just walk me through what your vision is.
Definitely. So, you guys hear that? Okay, never mind. Why can't I see the Zoom? All right, so our vision statement is that Elmwood will maintain its historical integrity while integrating modern advancements in real estate and sustainability. So the site will provide a socially and economically diverse community, and the neighborhood will tailor to the needs of current and future Elmwood residents, as well as shine a new light merging urban and suburban lifestyle. So just walking down Elmwood and giving a quick tour, you get off from the subway station to see the back of the Q Mart filled with murals, which we'll show a little later. So the murals are really promoting equality and a nice art scenery of art before you enter into our town. And then we have the mid-rise office. So the people who get off the subway will have a very convenient time just going into their mid-rise offices, their workplaces, and getting right to work. And then we go up 9th Avenue, which is really like our retail and downtown center. So it's filled with retail. Anyone can feel free to window shop, and really spend it on their own time. It's just a center for retail that we have, and Victoria Row is also a retail center. So you just go full of 9th Avenue filled with retail, and that's really the most characteristic part of our city, or
so let's pick a time of day. So say it's a weekday rush hour. So I work in your low-rise office building. Let's say the one beside the Phoenix Hotel. I get off at the Yard. What am I going to see on the street? What is the feeling like on 9th Avenue?
Definitely. So at 7 a.m. when you get off, it's definitely going to be that.
That would be impressive.
That 7 a.m. bustle. Everyone is going to try to get to work. It's going to be a little busy, but also contained at the same time, as we have the police substation, and most of our traffic is confined to one street, which is the 9th Avenue. So then you get into the low-rise office building, whether that be in
But like along the way, what am I seeing? Like what's happening outside of Q Mart? Where could I get a coffee? Where am I going to see lots of people? Where are they going?
Sure. So the retail center on 9th Avenue is mostly where all of the residents in our Elmwood are going to have their retail center. So you could get your coffee on block 2 right next to the low-rise building and walk into the building while you're seeing a lot of people go to and file into their low-rise buildings and as well as their mid-rise buildings for their work. In the Q Mart, we have 2 entrances from the 9th Avenue and the parking, which is in the 8th Avenue. You're definitely going to see people wrapping around that Q Mart from 8th Avenue and a little bit into the Yard to maintain that social distancing while getting their goods right in the morning to maybe make a meal, get ready for the week. And once you're in this low-rise building, you have a wide opportunity for relaxation in the parks, which is our town square right in block 4. And you're welcome to use the recreational space in the skate park as well. And then after that, after your long day of work is over, you can go to the retail center in our 9th Avenue, which is really like a bustling center. We have a lot of opportunities to shop and be relaxed after that long day of work, like a recreational center, which I'm sure our marketing director will go through the tenants that we are planning to advertise to.
And say it's Friday, it's okay to get dinner or drinks outside with my friends because of social distancing. Where could I do that?
You would go to the town square in block 4, which is filled with parks and space. This would really be where we encourage everyone in Elmwood, all the residents, to relax and have a very enjoyable time with their friends and family.
We've also allocated specific spaces in the park where restaurants can use outside seating. And that's
Okay, so let's walk through that. So where are the restaurants located?
The restaurants are located
Permanent
on
home
Ninth
of the
Avenue.
restaurants.
so the target tenant list, we have a very detailed target tenant list, which details that there's going to be dining primarily on Ninth Avenue and then additionally in the Victorian Row. And then with that, we've programmed the parks to accommodate one restaurant every day for additional outdoor seating as an add-on to what they already have outside of their own individual spaces in front of their restaurants. So we have the park kind of as a way to expand upon already existing outdoor seating in each individual lot.
And
So
throughout
what does it
the-
say in the RFP about restaurants? How many fine dining restaurants are you allowed?
Only one. So we
One.
have.
So what are the other food, like food options?
So we have some of the more young and hip type of restaurants just to attract younger audiences. So in the Victorian Row, right across from our library, we have a bakery as well as a coffee shop right near the Yard. The bakery is close to the library, so people can kind of use that simultaneously. And then the coffee shop near the Yard, so that commuters can just hop right off the subway and then have access to that. We also have one fine dining restaurant in relatively close proximity to the mid-rise building so that people can bring their clients there. And that's the One Market Sustainable Fine Dining Restaurant, as well as a salad place in the Victorian Row and other smaller restaurants located in the retail building.
So let's talk through. So say I'm with, like I'm at your park space and it's, you know, a time of day where you have temporary food service available there. Where is the establishment that I'm having my food delivered from? How far away is it? How do they access the park?
So we intentionally put all of our retail on corners. So on 9th Avenue, we have a corner, and then also on York Dry Goods, as well as the 9th Avenue corner right next to the Q Mart to make sure that curbside pickup is really easy. It's not a long distance. You'd most likely be getting your food from the Victorian Row retail or on 9th Avenue. So it's not a long enough distance that there's any sort of concern about the food being damaged in the process.
Am I ordering the food and taking it there to eat, or am I ordering it there and the restaurant is delivering it to me?
So
You'd be ordering it in the park and the restaurant would come to you. So a quick example that we can use is that in our hometown in East Brunswick, one of our local restaurants set up a tent in the park, and they had permission to do that. And they also had they had the pre-made foods and a makeshift kitchen that they transported to the park. So it was very easy for them. You order and you had the online menus. They set up a tent, they set it up, the restaurant, and they had tables that they brought as well with them, as well as chairs, and everything happened within the park. So it would be the restaurant's responsibility to do that, but as the city council, we're just requesting the city council that they allow for restaurants to have that space in the park that we've created.
And I guess the reason I'm asking this is, like, how long can food be transported so it still stays warm? And obviously food delivery figures this out, so maybe it's a non-issue. I'm just curious if you've thought through, like, the location of restaurants or food service to the park. What, site planner, what does it feel like to be in the park? What am I seeing around me?
Definitely. So you're definitely going to see hand sanitizers where we're organizing.
Like architecturally, like, what am I looking at from an like what does the back of Victorian Row look like?
Okay, so the back of the Victorian Row, you have a lot of restaurants, and a possible way that we can mitigate seeing a blank building is by asking our artists that live in Elmwood to have a mural on the back of Victorian Row. And when you're sitting in the park, you're definitely going to see a lot of open space, and we're planning for a trail within the park, just for, and this trail, all the residents are welcome to walk within the park to relax and have a very recreational time. And when you're sitting in the park, you're definitely going to be able to see a lot of trees, a lot of open space that you can safely socially distance and have a great time with your friends and family, as well as
So say you're leasing up a space in Victorian Row to some sort of food tenant. Where is their entrance? Do they have,
Their entrance would be on 9th Avenue. We would face away from the park.
okay. And then where will trash and grease, composting, recycling, where will the tenants of Victorian Row put those?
You mean when they're using the park as a space to eat for that one day?
Well, if you think of a retail building, how is the front space different from the back space?
We've made sure that the park is properly gated, so any people visiting aren't disrupted by any sort of garbage or waste produced from the Victorian Row. So there's a proper division between the park and
Yeah.
the
So whatever, like the gate covers anything that has to do with like garbage disposal, and everything you see is above the gate. And there will be a blank, there will be a part that's blank in order to allow for one of the other things we added to our park, which we wanted to do like drive-by movie theaters, or like sit on the grass, like, or like picnic movie theaters, which is also something we want to establish for our community.
I think it all ties into your vision, right? Like how is the back of an older building different from the front? And what's the vibe you're going for, right? And does it align with it or does it not? Like in some places, fire escapes and, you know, all the messy stuff behind a building isn't a problem. So I think it's just something to think through. How are your financials looking?
I'll screen share if that's okay.
Okay, that would be great.
Rachel, I think, can you stop screen sharing so I can come on? Okay, yeah, that works. So use allocation wise, yeah, can you go to summary? Thank you. So our ROI is 14.1%. Our city revenue is 1.7. So we're above the benchmarks. And the reason why we decided to give the city a little more than they asked for was because we are in the middle of the crisis and they need some expendable cash to use to pay for like hand sanitizer, things like that, to keep public health as its first priority. Regarding amenities, we have 10%, so 5 land plots for amenities. We have 15% affordable housing, which is 15 units for us. We decided to put in luxury condos too. Those aren't affordable, but those are for our residents who may make more money, who may work at the office buildings. For community services, we have about 28,000 square feet of community services in York Dry Goods. Those include the bike share, the computer center, and things like that cater to more young people. Yeah, so you can see
what
there.
are your 2 uses in York Dry Goods that you're replacing temporarily?
We have one of them is the testing. We have a testing center and a supply distribution center for one of them. And another is a helpline center. We thought because we have articles of domestic abuse or cases like that increasing, especially during this the pandemic. So we included a helpline center as well.
Okay, and Ram, can you tell me, do you have any uses that are overbuilt, and how would you defend any concerns City Council might have about the risk that might pose?
Yeah, absolutely. So the only thing we're absorbing over the 3-year limit right now is luxury condos, and the way I would justify that is it's a very profitable building for both the city and us. And in the future, we expect businesses to come to our place because we are catering to people who will be the majority of the workforce in a couple of years. So with more high-end businesses, we expect more wealthy individuals to come here over time and fill.
Can you outperform your market study though? Like, are the market conditions?
Those. And for neighborhood, sorry, could you repeat that?
I was just gonna say, like, the market conditions are the market conditions, right? So at least in your 3-year absorption period, like, we would hope that those are set, right? Like, you can have the goal of trying to outperform it, but council may not see it that way, right? So how would you defend overbuilding luxury condos? How many units will be overbuilt? How long will it take to fill those extra units?
Yeah, so we're expecting to be 0.17 years over the limit, which was 3 years. And this isn't very significant. It's slightly over, but the way we justify that is it's very profitable for both the city and us. And if we took that out, it would be bad for our financial statement. So we're willing to slightly absorb in that area if we're able to make more money off it rather than building podiums or townhouses instead.
And say city council says, you know, we were willing to take less tax revenue. Are there any facilities or, you know, items we wanted to subsidize that you're leaving on the table? How would you defend this decision to generate more tax revenue for the city?
I mean, if they truly decide that we produce more revenue, we could put more affordable housing or maybe even another park. But the reason, I think our biggest reason why we left a little expendable cash for them was we felt that they needed money to ensure the public was safe. We wanted them to buy hand sanitizer, masks, things like that, that make sure everybody's safe. And that's why we felt it was okay to have a little more money than they asked for.
All right, if you could go back to the site plan. Neighborhood liaison, were you in favor of having a Q Mart?
Although the Neighborhood Alliance was against having the Q Mart, we did believe, like, we mitigated we mitigated this by including a lot of park space, and also we included the computer center because that's also something that they wanted. And we do believe that one of the arguments was like noise, and by creating like more park space and moving the houses a little bit further away, like closer to the church and further away from where that Q Mart would actually be, we hope to take away this concern like by the Neighborhood Alliance.
Will they still be upset though?
While they may be upset, this was a better compromise than putting homes like closer to the Q Mart.
How many members are in the Neighborhood Alliance?
400.
Why are they significant?
Because they represent a majority of the town.
But why would city council care about them? Like what power do
because they're the voters and the taxpayers. Like,
okay. And which group was for Q Mart?
The urbanists.
Why did they want it?
Because it's more accessible and easier than a supermarket or like a grocery store.
Is it? Why?
Because it has things like the pharmacy or just like more utilities, and it's larger also. It takes up more room, which means it has more like space for newer things.
Does the supermarket also have a pharmacy?
Yes, yeah.
Okay, so what can you get at Q Mart that you can't get at the supermarket?
Well, the Q Mart does have a green roof, which means it's more environmentally beneficial for our town.
Okay, and then what, were there any other groups that wanted the Q Mart?
Yeah, the jobs for justice, because it creates more entry-level jobs, and since we have our homeless shelter, we need those jobs.
Okay, all right, city liaison, were you for or against the Q Mart?
For.
Why?
In the RFP, they mentioned that they wanted a Q Mart because, as the neighborhood liaison said, entry-level jobs are one of them. And along with that, there were a lot of complaints that people in Elmwood had to travel at least over 30 minutes to other grocery stores, and that was one of the complaints, which is why by putting a Q Mart in here, there would be less commute, and also, as I mentioned before, entry-level jobs for the homeless shelter, which will create less problems for crimes.
Which provides more tax revenue, the Q Mart or the supermarket?
The Q Mart is more economically fruitful for the town overall.
On a per square foot basis, or?
Sorry, can you rephrase that question?
So is it on a per square foot basis, or is it by what you can purchase there?
Based off of the overall benefits of having the Q Mart, one of the largest complaints of most of the neighborhood groups, and thus the council, the city council in general, was that there was an inconvenience in having to leave the town to find goods. Since the Q Mart provides that much product, it compensates in tax revenue.
So Hannah, what goods can you get at the Q Mart that have higher sales tax than the supermarket? Which would generate more sales tax, a television or bread?
A television.
Right, so but it's a more expensive product, but also a lot of groceries are subsidized, right? So there's a lot less tax on those products.
Yeah, and along
The
with
supermarket is takes up a lot less space. So it's just, you guys have a trade-off there.
Yeah.
Site planner, were you for or against the Q Mart?
I was for the Q Mart, especially because in our Elmwood, the Q Mart is a very convenient place for all residents to come to the Q Mart and get anything that they would need. Like the liaisons have stated before, many of the residents had a lot of complaints that they had to leave the city and travel at least 30 minutes to.
But tell me from a design perspective. So you're the site planner, right? So what is it like to walk to the Q Mart? Where does the traffic go? Tell me about, like, physically, what does it look like?
Definitely. So on 9th Avenue, we have it's filled with our retail center. So if you were to also have this big Q Mart in our retail street, it would flow perfectly, as there is a variety of different retails as well as a pharmacy, and it just helps for that convenience. And while you're walking down that street, you can see a variety of different stores, and having a Q Mart there would also work. And
What's on the ground floor of Q Mart?
It would be the Q Mart center and everything that they provide.
So check in the handbook. What is on the ground floor of the Q Mart?
All right. Would you like me to check now?
Just make sure you know what's on the ground floor, because the Q Mart's on the second floor.
All right, we can check
Oh,
And then where is the loading and unloading? Like, where do all the big Q Mart trucks come, and how do they deliver their goods?
So we have two entrances, one from 9th Avenue and one directly from the Q Mart parking, and the trucks would unload in the Q Mart parking area, as it'll be easier for the trucks as well because there is a parking space. And from that, as we have these two entrances, it'd be much easier for residents to access the Q Mart as well.
Okay, and can you think of a big box store that has two entrances?
You mean like a brand?
Like do Targets have two entrances?
I'm not sure if a Target has two entrances, but I know Costco, the ones that I've been to, have two entrances. And so it is easier because also they have a large amount of parking, so it's easier for the residents to walk and get there as well. One of the big benefits of the Q Mart is that there's a green roof on top of the Q Mart, which really goes to our vision to be in a sustainable environment and a sustainable community. And just from the architectural point of view, and you get off of the subway station, instead of seeing just the back of the building, we have mitigated that plain view by asking or requesting the artists to give us murals. And I think Rachel, who's screen sharing, can show you some of the murals that we wanted the murals to encompass and promote peace and equality, and it was a really nice way of mitigating that plain back building that you would see right from the subway station.
Okay, and just remember, so check in the handbook, there's parking on the ground floor.
All right.
Of Q Mart. Okay, quickly, because I know we started late because unfortunately we just had a little mix up, but I just want to do the last two roles and then I'll let you guys get back to, all right, so Rachel, you are marketing.
yes.
Okay, were you for or against the Q Mart?
Definitely for. I think overall the market benefit of having all of the amenities located right in the center of our town is very beneficial. And it also complements some of the service businesses, because while people are using drop and go type foot traffic businesses, like the dry cleaning and the pet grooming, which we place next to the Q Mart, it provides a constant flow of people purchasing regular everyday amenities like groceries, and like you said, technology that might be located inside of the Q Mart.
Okay, so let's go back to this loading and unloading issue. What time do the trucks what time do you normally see trucks coming to a big box store?
Typically that would be late at night or early in the morning.
Okay, so what's it going to be like if I live in one of those condo buildings? Will I hear it? Will I not hear it?
Typically, I think overall with the layout of Elmwood, it's already relatively noisy because of the close proximity to the freeway. So if you're living in those multi-family apartments that are located right near the exits of the freeway, it's not going to be adding any sort of obnoxious noise because there already is that concern of living near the yard. So it's not really going to change anything for the residents.
Okay, and then say I have a condo overlooking Jefferson Street at 8, 9 o'clock at night. What is my view?
The view from the condos would primarily be overlooking the other buildings surrounding and will also have a great view of the park. So I don't think that
But what about the side that overlooks Q Mart? What am I going to be looking out at?
As Kamala mentioned, we've already commissioned the artists to paint murals on the side of the building. So of course, any building that's located in close proximity to the condos isn't going to be beautiful, but by adding those murals, it definitely embellishes the area.
What's on the roof of the Q Mart parking?
There's also the green roof, so that's a great view since the condos
okay.
over the.
So that's on the commercial building, but what about the top of the parking garage?
The top of the parking garage, of course, it's not the prettiest view, but having it facing inside rather than facing the yard is less of a liability issue for the town because there was a concern if we did have the Q Mart parking facing the street of having people using the yard parking there unnecessarily. So of course, it's not the prettiest view, but once again, the liabilities for the town are just too high to have it facing in any other direction.
Okay, and then can you let me know what your leasing strategy is for the townhouse next to the skate park? What is the synergy there?
So since we are marketing our town to a sort of younger audience, we don't think it'll be a problem to have the skate park located near the townhomes. Most of our townhomes are affordable, so there already is that sort of beneficiary of that audience. And since we are appealing to a younger audience, hopefully with children, we think that the skate park would actually be an added benefit of living in that area and so close to the YMCA.
So financial analyst, how many affordable townhouse units do you have?
Okay, Rachel, can you screen share again? So we have 3 affordable, but 9 market rate. So that's 25% affordable townhouses, and we also have 25% affordable podium apartments. We felt affordable housing was important since we built luxury condos. We wanted to make this economically diverse, and having higher affordable housing was one way we could do that.
Okay, and my one last question for you, just financial analyst, we for or against the Q Mart?
I was completely for it. It was more profitable than having the supermarket. As you said, sales tax on like groceries isn't that high, but if you put electronics, things of that nature, we make more money like that. So since I'm the financial guy, I like making more money.
So that's from a tax perspective. What about for you for profit?
Profit.
Does the Q Mart bring a lot of profit to the developer?
I'll be honest with you. Profit wasn't our biggest concern because we were always above the benchmark. So we were able to play around with it. Even if it wasn't the most profitable, we wanted to have it because city revenue was more, more of an issue to us, because that was something we struggled with a little more than profit.
Why might the supermarket be more profitable to the developer?
I mean, I guess there are a lot of reasons. Maybe people, a large majority of, I guess less space. That makes sense. You could have used that space for other things like housing or, yeah.
All right, guys, great job. Good luck. And we'll see you later in the city council presentations.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye. Bye.